I had a lot of zeros starting Mastermind. I had no properties, I had no property experience, I had no property knowledge, and because of an unhappy scenario of, you might have heard of COVID-19, I'd been made redundant and therefore I had no job and no cash flow. Strategies, I came with no job and therefore Simon sat me down and he said, Phil, you're going to need to build cash flow. We've managed to do 286 units. We've raised 1.7 million in private investment. We're giving £100,000 per calendar month back to investors, and I make 26,568 per calendar month. I've just confirmed that's now going to over 300 units. It will be 2 million by the end of the month, and I can confirm that 2 weeks ago we managed to forecast forwards that we will have made £1 million in profit by the time.
Please put your hands together for our final top performer for Mastermind 30, Phil Bygrave.
Hi folks, how are we doing? Okay, so I've got 15 minutes to entertain you, and just to pre-warn you, I'm probably going to get emotional during this journey. So I also realised on arrival this morning I'm wearing the same outfit as that picture. So let's just say it worked for Steve Jobs, so hopefully it'll work for me. Okay, who I am. So my background is, worked for 30 years, from paper round to starting work life, climbing the corporate ladder. I've got a sales and commercial background. However, that's pretty arbitrary if I'm honest with you, because what I'd like to introduce you to is the person who joined Mastermind. Mastermind is a process, it's a journey. You'll hear trust the process, people will say it. But what does that mean? So I'm going to take you on a process journey. I had a lot of zeros starting Mastermind. I had no properties, I had no property experience, I had no property knowledge, and because of an unhappy scenario of, you might have heard of COVID-19, I'd been made redundant and therefore I had no job and no cash flow. Where? I'm from Greater Manchester. My patches at the moment are Greater London and Greater Manchester. That's where I'm doing stuff. I can read it here. Okay, why? So bear with me here. I've got two whys. The first one is personal. After 18 years climbing the corporate ladder, I was a broken man. I actually faced one day where I thought to myself, I'd rather drive my car into this wall than have to deal with my current life. So, take a deep breath. My second why is my lovely family. I've got a beautiful son and a beautiful daughter. My son will be watching because he's keen. My daughter's 14, so she's got far more important things to do with her life. And I've got a beautiful wife, and hi Nick Nack, I know you're watching. My wife is my soulmate. She's the yin to my yang. She's the ding to my dong. As I said the other day, she found that funny. She's one of the most beautiful people inside and out I've ever met. However, she has an affliction which is a disability, and that disability is called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's extreme hypermobility, and her joints don't stay in place. She's had over 40 dislocations in her life, and she lives a life of pain. And on 2 separate occasions, while I was off doing wonderful corporate things, she dislocated alone at home. And I couldn't get to her. I told myself I wasn't going to do this. So my second why is to be there when she needs me to hold her hand. That's it. Okay, I'm going to try and raise the level now, and I'm going to chuck a joke in to try and bring me back on point. How many of Boris Johnson's children does it take to change a light bulb? Answer between 4 and 6, because if he doesn't know, why should we? Main strategies deployed during Mastermind. I had 3 strategies. I came with no job, and therefore Simon sat me down and he said, Phil, you're going to need to build cash flow. So you need one of our cash flow strategies, and you'll have heard some of the other Masterminders talk about this in their summaries, and you're probably wondering what that is. Where does that money come from? Guilty. So we built a rent-to-rent business on a business-to-business basis. There's another slide in a minute, so I'll talk about that in more detail. It's a cash flow only strategy. This isn't long-term, it's cash flow. Your job isn't forever, it's cash flow. Cash flow is now. It's temporary. We managed to get the crest of a wave. COVID caused issues. There were already issues, and we capitalized on those issues, and we managed to systemize and scale this. I wasn't on my own in this, and a huge thanks go out to the managing agents, to the partner companies that I use to help source and things like that. But more importantly, Thanks to all the people who've invested and shown the faith in me and what we were doing. The second strategy, after I'd launched my trading business, Simon said, after about 12 months, you're probably going to be lendable. So I thought commercial to residential is a great strategy. That's the one that I decided was the best thing for me. And this is going to be my main asset cash flow and profit strategy over the medium term. You'll notice I mean medium term because commercial to residential conversion is quite difficult. It is involved, and therefore it is job-like. So we do this through JVs and also portfolio building for the people. And we're going to do some buy to rent to sell, which is just a phrase that we use where we just buy something, rent something, sell it. That's it. Very simple. And then my long-term asset strategy. I'm going to get below market value long-term assets, either from my profit-generating strategy or I'm just going to purchase them. And I want them to be deliberately boring. Deliberately boring. And the reason I want them to be deliberately boring is I don't want to have to do anything with them. I want them to be managed, and I don't want to do the managing. Okay, so how many estate agents does it take to change a light bulb? Answer 3. One to answer the phone about the light bulb, one to show you the light bulb, and one to tell you your offer on the light bulb was far too low, and then to forget you've ever existed. How many solicitors does it take to change a light bulb? Answer 1, but you'll have to fill in the same 4 forms you filled in the last time you bought the light bulb. You'll need to put the money for the light bulb on the account before they start work, and you'll have to prove that the money you've spent on the light bulb is legitimate. Okay, so here is the big case study. Rent to rent. Rent to rent is a cash flow strategy that Simon teaches. There's 3 realistic scenarios you can do with rent to rent. You can rent a property, get it at a good price, rent it out at a better price. You may have had to add value to do that, or you may have just got a good deal in the first place. You can treat it like a cake seller. You can get a property, you can chop it up into either days or people. And if you chop it up into days, you're doing serviced accommodation rent by night. If you chop it up into people, you're doing HMOs and you're renting it per room. Or you can do what we did, which is find businesses who are happy to lease properties from you on a rent-to-rent basis, and therefore they're happy to, and if you get businesses that are happy to do this, and the businesses that kind of do this are usually within sort of supported living, charities, social housing, and local authorities, they're more than happy to lease these things from you as long as it meets their standards. You can actually do a bit more with that and probably scale it a little. It's hard to find that as a customer, though. To be brutally honest, it really is hard to find. 60 networking meetings I attended before settling on what strategy I was going to deploy. Looked at case studies for rent to rent in all of those different strategies. Looked at PLOs. Looked at all of these different things. In the end, I found one solution. We realized it was crest of a wave. COVID-19 caused an issue, which meant more people needed temporary accommodation. And then it became all about sales and marketing, which is why there's me and not a house. I thought that was sales and marketing started to take over because we'd systemized it. And if you need to scale something, you're going to need money. So we needed to sell it. It is cash flow only. It is temporary only. I've got less than 12 months here and it's going to disappear. However, it just goes to prove that even in the toughest times, there is always opportunity and that COVID-19 should not be used as an excuse. You can find a way as long as you're willing to trust the process. How many property investors does it take to change a light bulb? Answer none. It's not a passive investment if you're changing light bulbs. How many RICS valuers does it take to change a light bulb? Answer 2. One to screw it in and one to screw it up. Okay. So then we moved on to commercial to residential. This is my strategy I've been deploying for the last 3 months. Because my trading business now has accounts, so Simon told me, guess what? You are now lendable. So I went and found some people who would lend me money from a commercial perspective, development finance, these types of things. So this is commercial to residential property. It was sourced indirectly. It was sourced by one of my VAs, my virtual assistants. And hi, Andrea. I know you're watching. Thank you for this. And also to Arnell and to Janice. I have VAs in my business simply because Simon told me to get them. This is a common theme. We purchased it at $218,000. We've got a renovation cost of $85,000. It's going to be 3 flats and a 4-bed HMO. The end GDV will be $425,000. The equity in that will be $106,250. Annual profit is $22,896, which leaves me 50% of 1908 because it's a joint venture. I found it and I'm funding it. Why is it a joint venture? We talked about zeros before. I had no commercial experience, no conversion experience, and I wasn't lendable under commercial terms because I'd only just I got 1 year of trading accounts. So I guess what I did? I took it to someone and said, look, I've got a great deal. I'll fund it, you build it. And he said, yep, I'm up for that. And we got what we needed. Okay, side note, there's two pictures there. The one on the left is the property, the one on the right is the brochure. Guess which ones attracted the investor funds? Was it the picture on the left or the picture on the right? There's no pictures of the building on the left in the brochure on the right. Case study 2. So this is my more boring unit strategy. Commercial units, you'll see on the right-hand side there, this was direct to vendor. We secured it on an option. If you don't know what an option is, don't worry, neither did I. Join Mastermind, Simon told me what options were. It's great when he does that kind of stuff. It was through sales and marketing, SEO. And you'll see I've got a website. It's called Sell My Property. The reason I've got an SEO-focused website is because Simon told me to get one. The value of this, it was last sold in 2017 at £200,000. It was purchased by me on an option at £150,000 because it was direct to vendor and we got on like a house in fire. And Tony, you're watching, thanks very much. This is all about you as well as me. I bought it part SaaS, part cash. So what's a SaaS? It's a pension product. Why do I have a SaaS? Because Simon told me to get one. It was investor funded for the rest of it. $20,400 per annum, £1,700 per calendar month. All money out minus costs, legal costs. It's infinite return on capital invested. So what does the future hold for me? I think I've got less than 12 months to capitalize and maximize on the rent to rent. Commercial to residential, aim to be both an expert and an author in this space. I want to be seen as both an expert and an author. Services, we're going to do portfolio building for high net worth people with a social focus. People are people and they like to know that their money's doing something for good. Pension assets, boring properties we've covered. How? E to C3, it's a planning class. We're going to do it on a permitted development, NA, that's a permitted development class under prior approval. And if that doesn't sound like an author and expert, I don't know what will. Don't know what it means yet. We'll see more. My key challenge is to convert the profits we're making from the rent-to-rent temporary business into assets. Current asset focus, 250 to 700 metres square, which is 5 to 15 flats. Why is that? Because the supported living clients say that's what they want. Just do that, okay? And I've been appointed negotiator for UK Property Angels, who have a focus on supported living on a direct-to-vendor commercial sourcing basis. Okay, I know people are interested here. So, summary of the deals. These are the asset deals. Costs on the left, GDVs on the right. Equity remaining that we've generated from those 3 deals is 201,250. And the cash flow, because I've got commercial units in there, and it's quite high cash flow, 34,728. Not quite hit the 50K, as promised on the banners. However, there is the other business-to-business renting scheme, and, drum roll, we've managed to do 286 units. We've raised 1.7 million in private investment. We're giving £100,000 per calendar month back to investors, and I make 26,568 per calendar month. I've just confirmed that's now going to over 300 units. It will be 2 million by the end of the month, and I can confirm that 2 weeks ago, we managed to forecast forwards that we will have made £1 million in profit by the time this finishes. So, don't clap, it's fine. So, top tips, I have a few. Find your why. I've got some great whys. Have plenty of reasons to do great things. You can't do great things if you don't have great reasons. Take time to decide your strategy, then get absolute focus. I tried it all, landlord letters, PLO offers. I tried it all. And I found a strategy that works. I found another strategy that works. I'm just going to do that. Make thinking time a rewarding experience. You can't think when you're stressed. You can't think when you're busy. If the kids are hassling you, you cannot think. You cannot be creative. And you need to be creative. Take time to yourself. I use breakfast, and then I send everybody photos of my breakfast. I know you've all seen them. Nourish the mind as well as the body. You want to be rich, you want to be wealthy, you want to be successful, you want to build a business, you want to learn how other people have done it, you want to learn how people not to do it. These things are available in these things called books. I would suggest you go and read some. I don't like to read. I disagree. I just don't think you found the right things to read. I don't like to read. Well, they used to have them on cassette. I don't know how they're doing these days. And if you like property, I heard Property Magic's a pretty good book. 3 financial tips to generational wealth. If you're coming into Mastermind, one of these things is true. Either you've not got enough money, or you're going to run out of money. One of those 2 things is true. So there's 3 things you can do. You can build a cash flow business like I did. You can develop property and take profit out of those for others. Or you can consistently buy below market value assets. And guess what? Mastermind will make you an expert in all of those things. And if you get private investors to finance it, it's all good. You don't even have to worry about not having the money in the first place. Enjoy making mistakes because expert craft takes time. Expert craft takes time. John Cleese asked a sculptor who just sculpted an elephant how he'd sculpted this elephant out of 1 slab of rock. He said it was easy. I just took a long time to knock away all the bits that did not look like an elephant. And enjoy making mistakes. Edison found 10,000 ways to how not to make a light bulb. You can find meaning in common goals and community. This is why I joined Mastermind. Your network is your net worth. It was the common goals of this community that helped me achieve what we achieved this year. Don't do it alone. Be inspired by the little things. The joy that Mimosa showed in having a great conversation with the vendor. Getting to know Vernon's sellers and vendors, their wives, their dogs, their dog's walker. It's very, very inspiring. The way Summer living in her rent-to-rent S2SAs, doing paintings while she's in there, decorating the place. Once she's lived in it and gets the feel for it, she's far too talented. She's doing it in a second language. I think you should apologize for the amount of talent that you show. Tell people what you do. Tell people what you do. Tell them. People, it doesn't matter what you know. It doesn't matter who you know. All that matters is who knows you. And Chris was saying, I'm sick of seeing your face on social media. I'm going to start reporting you to LinkedIn. I said, that's fine. I don't even know if that's a thing you can do, but yeah. Ultimately, do what Simon says. That's it. So if Simon says stand up, stand up. If he doesn't, don't. Have a wealth mindset. And hopefully you find some light bulb moments in what I'm talking about here. And to summarize, how many potential property masterminders does it take to change a light bulb? Answer 100. 1 to join the course, change their lives in world-class ways to screw in a light bulb. 99 to wish they had. How many property mastermind trainers does it take to change a light bulb? Answer 3. 1 to make sure your mindset is right. 1 to teach you in a world-class way how to change that light bulb. And 1 to coach you every step of the way, hold your hand to make sure that light bulb gets changed. And finally, how many Rami property groups does it take to change a light bulb? Answer none, because we're mastermind graduates, and therefore we're far too busy doing great deals, working with our great mastermind community, and providing great returns to our investors. I hope you learned something. Thank you.
I do hope you got massive value from watching this YouTube video. I'd encourage you to click on the link below to come and do the online training with me. And I've got another video lined up for you, which I think is also going to be really useful that you should watch once you've registered for the online training with me. So invest with knowledge, invest with skill. I'll see you very soon.